Hello, my name is Paul Wangari, a counseling psychologist, a passionate mentor, and an author of 7 titles, one of them being Why You Marry Wrong. I'm inviting you to take a walk with me through this book, Why You Marry Wrong. I hope it shall be of great insight and helpful to you. Now, let's start by looking behind this book. What have I indicated here? The person you marry affects your destiny and success in a great way, hence the need to marry right. It is therefore of paramount importance for individuals to think through why they want to get married in order to make informed decisions pertaining this lifetime commitment. This book, Why You Marry Wrong, encourages marriages that are intentional rather than circumstantial. Marriages that are intentional are beautiful and fulfilling to a couple and their children. On the other hand, when a couple marries out of pressure or situation, might reach a point where they end up feeling like they made the wrong decision. It is my prayer that this book will inspire you to build happy and fulfilling marriages. So that's exactly what is written behind here. And then, of course, about the author's information. Paul Wangari, this is me. Paul Wangari is a gifted inspirational speaker, counseling psychologist, youth mentor, and a 2-time award-winning author. His passion is to help youth realize their potential, make informed choices in life, and become resourceful and impactful to their families and society at large. Growing up as an orphan in a children's home, his touching testimony has shaped destinies and given hope to thousands of young people across the country. So those are the programs that I normally do across the country in our schools, in high schools, in universities, colleges, churches, and any platform where there is young people, because my specialty as a counseling psychologist is the young people. So the first page of the book looks like that. And then we have dedication. So this book is dedicated to everyone desiring to have a fulfilling relationship and marriage. You don't have to suffer in a wrong marriage. So this is the purpose of this book, to help us to make the informed decision so as to avoid falling into wrong marriages or relationship where we'll end up hurting. Disclaimer, there's a disclaimer right here. This publication is as a result of research conducted from a scope of 500 individuals who are or have been in relationships that have worked or failed, sharing their mistakes they made, lessons learned, and offering their guidance and insight to those who are intentional about marriage and desire to have a fulfilling, happy marriage. The names used in this book do not in any way represent actual names. Any resemblance of the actual person, living or dead, is purely coincidental. So that is very important, so that you avoid being sued for using people as case study. The essence of this book is to provoke the readers to interrogate pertinent issues pertaining committing to a marriage. The author specifically describes any liability that is incurred from the use of this publication. That is very important, or the content in this book. He recommends that those in relationship, whether marital or family, should seek the services of a family and marriage therapist to enhance their bond. Furthermore, those contemplating divorce or separation should consider doing the same. Why have I indicated that? Why have I put this particular section in this book? It's because the cases that we shall be looking at, the 30 reasons that lead people into wrong relationship or marriages. These are case scenarios, people who have shared with me their stories, and therefore some of them are very nasty. Some of them they made their own decisions, and therefore I don't want you to make a decision based on someone who is a character in this book. So because people are different and cases are different, and therefore it is always advisable to seek the advice of a therapist. So the other page is acknowledgement. First and foremost, I would want to thank Almighty God for granting grace to write this book. So then, of course, I have acknowledged a few people who worked with me through the writing of this book. The first page, we have prologue. I hope I've pronounced it right. Right? So this is the first page, and this is what is indicated here. So come with me. A good marriage can be a blessing for many years to come. Equally, a bad marriage can destroy a couple and their kids for many years to come. Darrell Andrews states that marriage is the most important relationship in a family. Unfortunately, people often marry for the wrong reasons, hence find themselves in difficulties they never anticipated in the first place. One of the biggest causes of a bad marriage is having unrealistic expectations of one's spouse. Some people create an image of the perfect spouse in their mind, and when the spouse does not fit into those pictures or meet their expectations, they begin to see this person in a negative light. In such negativity, their communication towards their spouse become a pattern that brings destruction to them and, unfortunately, to their kids, who are not spared either. Definitely, this brings a lot of questions in my mind as an author. And the questions I had in mind was this: why do people marry? And as I say this, I want you also to see yourself. Why are you in that relationship? Why do you want to go into a relationship? Why do you want to get married? So I hope that as we go through this book, it shall also be a thought-provoking also to you. Why are many marriages on a cliff and at the verge of breaking? What foundations do people lay down in preparation for their marriage life? What is the role of parenting in raising children who have emotional stability, which impacts on their ability to create successful marriages in future? So this is for parents who are bringing up children. What role are you playing in their mind? What kind of examples are you setting? What kind of conversations do you have with your children, who later will also go into relationships and also into marriage? So what you discuss with them will actually determine their stability in that relationship or that marriage. Do we have couples who are role models for the young adults intending to get into marriage? Has the church done it right in preparing singles for dating? So these are questions for pastors. What is the significance of marital counseling to young adults who are intending to get into a marriage? So these are some of the questions I've raised in this book, and as we go through the book, we shall be able to see if we shall be able to get some answers on the same. But also think about those questions and ask yourself, and also give yourself some answers. People prepare for an interview, exams, and a journey, but rarely do they prepare for a marriage. The purpose of this book is to raise such pertinent and thought-provoking questions, and consequently provide an active intervention for those preparing to join the institution of marriage. Failing to address these issues and many others affecting marriages is what leads to unprecedented crisis in relationships or marriages, and subsequently causes unsurmountable physical pains, emotional distress, such marriages end up hurting. Marriages is not for everyone, says Pastor Rick, telling you that today many people think marriage is for everyone. This is what Pastor Rick says. But it is not for everybody. Listen to that keenly. Marriage, though, is good. Marriage, though it was ordained by God, marriage is not for everyone. That is what Pastor Rick is telling us. Many people are so self-involved, and people who are self-involved cannot live a life where they have a spouse. They are so concentrated on themselves that when they get married, whether it is by pressure or by force, you realize by a matter of fact, you realize by a matter of time that the spouse is suffering because they are too self-involved, selfish in other words. They can't raise kids. They can't do anything like that, whether it is a man or a woman. That thing has caused so many divorces because people don't want to come to terms with the truth of the fact that some people are too self-involved and they become heartless in marriages when things don't get resolved. You can't marry such a person. Just rather stay single so that the other spouse or person can move on with their lives. Mary Ann Kibuchi, one of our psychologists here in Kenya, emphasizes that people end up marrying the wrong person because of societal pressure to settle down, fear of ending up alone, and settling down for less because one may feel they are not worthy to get married to a person who is good for them. There is also the pain of ignorance. Many end up not knowing what marriage is all about and end up signing up to something they have no clue whatsoever about. There is lack of intentionality in choosing a spouse or a life partner, as well as lack of true role models in the current society. Also, there is an issue of settling down before having a sense of self. And so one ends up conforming to the image of what their partner or spouse would want and not what they really want for themselves. That causes friction later in their marriage life and a lot of frustration. So the consequences of such a marriage are that the spouse is not genuinely happy with each other. They end up tolerating each other instead of loving each other, and unfortunately, their children suffer in the turmoil. So the children grow up in an environment that is not optimal or lacks genuine love, and eventually they end up picking negative ideas about what marriage is all about. Remember this, that children model us. Many children will do what we do, not what we say. So if you tell them marriage is beautiful and they are saying that you and your husband, you are not dating well, then this kid will not believe what you're telling them, but they will believe what they're saying you do. So as a parent, also it's very good to model the right way to your children. We continue. So the children grow up in a negative environment that is not optimal or lacks genuine love, and eventually they end up picking negative ideas about what marriage is all about. That creates a cycle that keeps on repeating itself in the society, where people are stuck in unhappy marriages and they carry a misconception that marriage does not work or marriage is a scam. That is the reason we have so many unhappy marriages in the society today. In fact, I'm so surprised because so many young people right now, they are saying they don't want marriage. They don't believe in real marriage. They don't believe in true marriage. They don't believe at all in the marriage institution. And therefore, if that is what is going on in the minds of our young people, the question then we ask ourselves is, how does the future looks like? Where will you be tomorrow? All right. Remember, a family is very important for the continuity of the society because of the children that come as a result. But when people say they don't believe in marriage, they don't want marriage, then we have an issue. I have good news for you though. There is hope for marriage. Things can change for good. But for that change to happen, a couple needs to be intentional by learning how to break the negative cycles and how to love each other genuinely. As people always say, prevention is better than cure. Likewise, both single people and even those in marriage need to be intentional right now on what they would like their marriage to be by intentionally working on their mentalities about marriage, and also working towards gaining knowledge on how to relate with their partners and future spouse. Wow. So there's so much I've captured there, which is a very, very deep and a very good introduction of this book, so that we are able to ask ourselves those questions. And by asking ourselves those questions, then we are able to find right answers, and you're able to get insights on how to go about it if you decide to be in a relationship or you decide to be in a marriage. Now, I have discussed that reasons, and we start with reason number 1. So remember, in this episode and episodes to come, I shall be taking you through every one of them. So today we shall start with the first one, and then our next episode we shall actually touch on the second one, and we shall go all the way until we are done with the 30. All right, so I want you to take this journey with me. Always ensure that you follow me for more on the same. So reason number 1, why do people marry wrong? According to my book, Why You Marry Wrong, reason number 1, you need to know, why am I marrying? That question must come to your mind. So why many people are married wrong is because they don't understand. Why am I getting myself into this marriage? What is marriage all about? How does marriage life works? So unless you have answers to these questions, I can assure you, you're going to marry wrong. So remember, if you want to go to a journey, you always prepare for that journey. If you want to do an exam, you always prepare for that exam. The same case I'm calling you. If you want to get into a relationship, if you want to get into a marriage, you need to be ready. So what have I said? Are you able to answer this question clearly without being influenced by external factors? What is that question? Why am I marrying? You need to answer that question without being influenced by external factors, by other pressures, by people who are telling you that you need to be married, that you're getting old, that you need children, that you shall age alone. You know, all those people. Without thinking about that, you need to ask yourself, why am I married? Right? So many young people today do not know what marriage is all about. Regrettably, they finally end up signing to something they have no clue about whatsoever. Without precise, concrete reasons, guided by intentionality, awareness, and maturity, don't marry. Otherwise, you will hurt badly. What is love? This is a question that is disturbing so many people. They think they're getting into a relationship because of love. But they only find that love is not what they thought it was. And that's what I'm asking here on page 5. What is love? A gentleman by the name Gary D. Champman said, being in love is not an adequate foundation for building a successful marriage. In the same case, I want to also throw that and expound on that, on the same. That love is not adequate for you to be in a relationship. So if your relationship is based on love alone, then it will not last, it will not go far. In his book, Love and Thorns, Joel Gitao quotes, maybe love is when somebody arouses your heart in a way that no one else ever did. Maybe love is the ability to connect to the good pieces of yourself. The ones that are not so visible. Maybe love is the recognition and the amazement of being surprised with how much care you can give. Maybe love is saying you are strong even when you feel weak. Maybe love is shouting that you are rich even when your bank account says otherwise. To really love another is to relate with all the goodness in you. To love and to cherish is the greatest gift God gave to mankind. So that's what Mr. Joel shares in his book, Love and Thorns. And that's a book I would also like to recommend. If you can get a copy of that book at Nuria Bookstore, then you're able to also get to learn so much about the pain, about the betrayals, about the challenges, the mountains, the ups and downs in relationship and marriages. Let us continue. Page 6. How do I tell I'm in love and not lust? This is a question so many people have. How do I tell I'm in love and not lust? What reasons, what feelings should I have to differentiate between lust and real love? Johann Christoph Arnold, in his book Sex, God and Marriage, states, everywhere today, people are searching for lasting and meaningful relationships. The myth of romance continues to be taken for granted by millions, and a new generation of young men and women has accepted the belief that sexual freedom is the key to fulfillment. But desperately, as people want to believe it in the sexual revolution of the last few decades, it is clear to many of them that something has gone terribly wrong. Instead of bringing freedom, the sexual revolution has left countless wounded and isolated souls. As we face the great anguish around us, it is more important than ever for all of us, young and old, to consider the direction of our lives and ask ourselves, where are we headed? Marriages has little to do with emotions and love, but everything to do with intentionality, maturity, and commitment to one another. Consequently, you can live with a partner in sickness and in good health, in lack and in abundance, in love and in the absence of love, in a perfect body and in the change of that body, until death do you apart. Romeo and Juliet kind of love, page 7. My dear wife, my sweetheart, I deeply love you very much from the bottom of my heart. Darling, I thank God that He brought us together and our paths crossed. I truly love you with great and immeasurable love. You are special, unique, one in a million. You are worth more than gold and silver. You are worth everything. I treasure you very much. I am proud of you in a great way. You amaze me. You are exceptional. You are a great person. You are my best friend, and you are worth more than expensive pearls. In the dark skies, you are the star that illuminates my life. You are the cloud that protects me from the sunshine of this life. You mean so much to me. I thank God I met you. You are a big support system, a confidant, a strong pillar. I mean, you are more than I could have ever bargained for, a complete package of blessing. I am so indebted a lot to you. I wish you the best in life. You are the only sand in my seashore, the only bean in my maize meal, in my githeri. Darling, soft and beautiful are roses petals. Your love fills my life with joy. I love you. I treasure and cherish every moment with you. I long to be closer even the more to you. You are wonderful, incomparable, strong-willed, incredibly full of agility, kind-hearted, and thoughtful partner. You will always remain to be my greatest achievement in life. Every moment I have spent with you has been nothing short of exceptional. I look forward to spending many years with you, my dear. You are special to me, one in a million. Darling, you never cease to amaze me. Thank you for who you are and all that you do. There is no one else I would rather spend the rest of my life with rather than you. Thanks for being such a loving, caring, and thoughtful person. You make me feel valued and appreciated. With you on my side, no mountain is too difficult for me to climb, no valley too low for me to go through. With you, I will be unstoppable and will conquer the world for sure. My strong passions and emotions are for you only. You always set me ablaze by the fire of your hot romance and highly compatible passions. Your touch makes me land on the third heaven. Let me get hold of you and let us cruise together to our destiny in God. I promise you that you have my backing in everything. Come rain, come sunshine. I pray that Numbers chapter 6 verse 24 to 26 will be realized for you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. I pray that God will bind us together with 3 cords of love that cannot be broken now and forevermore. This was a vows that were being exchanged on a pulpit in a wedding. This was the man speaking to the wife to be in a podium as they were exchanging their vows. I continue to read. After exchanging these great vows on the altar, the couple flew for honeymoon, but the unexpected happened. The couple parted ways before the honeymoon was over. The marriage was over before it even started. What happened? After that kind of love, after that kind of emotions, after that kind of feeling, what could have gone wrong for this couple to separate during honeymoon? This is a reflection of what is going on in many marriages. Reason number 2, page 10. My buddies are all married but me. This is what is happening out there, that you want to get married because your friends are all married, because your friends all have boyfriends and girlfriends except you, and now you feel the odd one out. You feel that you're missing something, and therefore you get yourself into a relationship or marriage, but without awareness, without being intentional. Many people are making the grievous mistake of getting into a marriage because they suffer from a deadly disease I call FOMO, the fear of missing out. They rush into marriage blindly just because their friends have married, and they feel like they are the odd ones out. Marriage is not a game of chess where you can quit whenever you want. It is a lifetime commitment. You will either suffer in a wrong marriage, or you will nurse the wounds from a messy separation. Therefore, marry because you are ready, since you will be the one to suffer and you'll be the one on the receiving end if things go south. What a book. What reasons. This is what is in this book. And today I want us to reach there. We have discussed reason number 1 and reason number 2. Reason number 1, we have said you need to answer the questions. Why am I getting married, or why am I getting into a relationship? Number 2, reason why people get into wrong marriages, because my buddies, my friends are all married except me. Look out for more as we continue the journey through this book. Until next time, I'm yours, Paul Wangari.